yeah, so it's apparently it's going around that the Spurs want to or discuss trading Zohan for Cam Johnson. First off, I haven't heard one thing about this. Okay, I'll say that. I know that the Spurs had a chance to move Zohan if they had wanted to. They don't. Teams have inquired about him, and they don't want to include him in anything. And you can see how reluctant the Spurs are to move even Keldon, right? If they don't have to. So yeah, Zohan is a few tiers from that. They're not just going to move him willy nilly, especially for. I mean, Cam Johnson's a really good player, but the two skill sets on what they will bring to the team is just completely different. I don't think that's necessarily an upgrade. I think that you're losing something tremendous defensively, versatility defensively for that. Just doesn't make sense. All of the language that they've used has been language towards the future with Zohan included. I cannot find it at all. I'm not saying that it's not an article out there discussing it. Okay, I'm not saying that. So this person says saw an article discussing a trade around Zohan and cap filler and Hawks picks and a Hawk pick for Cam. Yeah, no, there's no way. I can't find this article. Apparently, someone said go to Spurs Digest. I glanced at it, and what they put on their video here when I scrolled through was Netspress, which what? Hold on. Let's see if there's a link. They might have a link in here. Okay, Instagram link. Let's see where this takes us. Okay, April 4. Okay, so this is about a week ago. Okay, Netspress. So Instagram page, 20K followers, says Netspress sources. Talks are expected to resume closer to draft night as the San Antonio Spurs are still interested in Cam Johnson. Now, I know that this is true, that the Spurs have shown interest in Cam Johnson, okay? But to jump to Zohan, that's wild. Maybe it's an opinion. Let's keep reading. Though still a possibility, San Antonio's main focus will be on Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis and superstar Kevin. Guys, this is BS. This entire thing is BS. This is absolutely BS. Spurs interested in Giannis and Kevin Durant? That's not true. The Kevin Durant stuff, I mean, the only linking that we have to Kevin Durant is that during the draft deadline, he said that there was a few teams that he would be willing to go to, and it was like 5 on the list, and San Antonio happened to be on there. There's nothing, at least I heard on my part, or nothing just out there insinuating that the Spurs are going to be focused in on Kevin Durant. Okay, and I heard nothing about Giannis. That's completely left field, right? You know, one player that I have heard that the Spurs wanted to keep an eye on, which I don't know what that'll look like now, is been Luka. That's been a while, right? They wanted to keep an eye on that because they knew things were kind of weird over there. Other than that, as far as mega superstars, no, Giannis and Kevin has not come up. A potential package of Jeremy Sohan, a salary filler, and a 15th overall pick is what is currently being rumored. So it's not a 15th overall pick that the Spurs will have. But okay. At last year's trade deadline, the Nets were asking for a salary filler plus Atlanta's 2025 first round pick, currently 15th overall, as well as Atlanta's 2026 first round pick. If San Antonio fails to land Kevin Durant and if Giannis decides to stay in Milwaukee, the Spurs are almost certain to pivot towards Cam Johnson. That is a ridiculous statement to make. Like it's like these three are even on the same stratosphere. This is BS. I don't buy that. This is so strange. Okay. Now the only thing that's truthful out of this is that the Spurs are interested in Cam Johnson. Like, we know that. right? Like that's been out there. We know that they're interested in Cam. But to jump to, well, if they can't get Kevin or Giannis, certainly they're going to go after Cam. That's silly. That is such a silly leap to make. And also, yeah, just right off the bat, I don't think this is. I'm not saying that they're lying. I'm sure maybe they did get sources that says something in the lines of this, but I'm telling you guys this right now. This is not true. Obviously, you guys will say like, "Oh, you're biased," but I don't know. One Instagram post and people saying like, even if you try to look up on Google, you try to Google it, it's like, okay, where is this coming from? This person posted something saying, rumor, Spurs discuss Sohan filler first round for Cam Johnson, and then there's nothing here. First off, that would be a horrible deal. That's just not a good deal. That's it. Spurs are a little bit smarter than that, right? If they're so reluctant to give up even Keldon Johnson, and they're like, hey, we can really maximize this. The fact that they were able to get De'Aaron Fox without giving up anything, you really want me to believe that they're willing to give up their most versatile defender, apart from Wemby, obviously, filler in the first round, Atlanta pick for that. That's BS. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, someone's getting scared. No, I'm not getting scared at all. I'm telling you, if this is literally one Instagram post, man. Like, what do you want me to? How do you want me to react to this? This is literally just an Instagram post, and it's being ran with, and people saying, "Oh yeah, I saw this source that said this," but it's just a random Instagram post. You know? Yeah, it's not going to happen. Anything is possible. Obviously, anything is possible, but there's nothing here that makes me feel, I would feel a little bit better if it was more of a opinion, like they saying, based on my sources, my opinion is they could possibly, but this is straight up just basically saying there's like a potential package of, I don't believe that. That's bogus. I would have heard something. We would have heard something. I do have my own sources, but like, this just doesn't seem, it seems a little silly. It will make Nets fans happy though. Yeah, no. Someone says fake news. Sohan is taking the entire young core to England, Spain this summer. No chance this plays out. As a Spurs fan, I've been eyeing Cam Johnson for the past year. He seems to have exactly what we need. It's kind of crazy. My theory is being validated a little bit. All right, let me be real with you guys, okay? This kind of reeks of a little bit of truth, right? Sprinkling it with lies. Because the thing is, a lot of times what I'll see is something that's objectively true. Like, we know that it is true. It's been out there. It's been sources that we all trust, right? Even if you don't want to just trust me, that's totally cool. Like, there's plenty of Spurs reporters that are on Twitter that are completely you can get a lot of validation just seeing what the information that they put out, right? They're very credible, so you can just look at that. But a lot of times what'll happen is you'll take something that's been true for a while, right? So like us wanting Cam Johnson, this news came back, or this was back like in January, February, and we knew that the Spurs were interested in Cam Johnson. Like, this has been a thing that is true. A little bit of truth again, Kevin Durant, right? Like, oh, his name has been in the mix at San Antonio. There's been some rumors, kind of, or at least more opinionated pieces that the Spurs and Giannis could be connected, right? But there's really nothing out there on that. And then you take all of that, and then you just kind of construct your own like package, and then all of a sudden now you have this rumor that's going around. But I'm not buying this. This isn't enough for me to say like get excited or upset about. I just think this is silly. This isn't. I don't think this is true at all. Info wrong equals bad source. Exactly. Like a few of these things that they've said, like the Spurs main focus is Giannis. That's not true. And Kevin Durant, that is not true. Their main focus are not those two. Their main focus is not those two. So, I don't know. Giannis is going somewhere. Well, that's that little bit of truth, right? Like Giannis could be gone. Like San Antonio seems like a good place for him to land, but you can't buy into this. So unfortunately, I open up the live stream and people aren't here saying, "Hey, have you heard that rumor?" Well, we found out where the rumor came from. This is just silly, just speculation. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Tell us all your sources," but something like this, it's a lot of weird things in here. But if you're a Nets fan, right, and you keep up with this page or whatnot, you wouldn't know some of this information being wrong about San Antonio. You just wouldn't know. Seems true enough, right? Anyways. Yeah. So it will be the person who helps the Spurs win. Let me say, I'm gonna say this with my whole chest, okay? You guys can believe me or not. I would not just jump on here and just lie to everybody, right? Or just have my bias here, right? If it was true and the Spurs wanted to move Sohan, they had a lot of opportunities to do so already. Okay, I'm telling you this with my chest. There's been many teams asking about Sohan, and they have not done anything. He's been one of their untouchables, so to speak. Now, Keldon, it was really close with him. But even if they didn't have to move him, what makes you think that the Spurs are going to make some huge leap like this? Giving up Atlanta pick and Sohan is absolutely ridiculous. They're not going to do that, right? They're just not. So, anyways, just be patient. Just be patient. But this right here is BS. I'm sure people who hate Sohan will just roll with it, or are kind of like on the fence. We'll just roll with it. But there's nothing here. If you guys can tell me why you think that this is credible, you can let me know. But from my opinion, from what I'm seeing here and reading through it, this doesn't speak truthful to me. Seems like a little bit of truth with, not saying their line in particular. I'm just saying their sources might not be accurate. That makes it a little bit of a lie, right? Anyways.